If you guys have any questions, please let me know while we're waiting for our connection. Hi,
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
how are you?
Good, are
Good,
you?
good.
Good. I don't know. How was your weekend?
It's been it's been good. We had a baby shower.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
yeah, but it was like a
Drive through.
drive-through baby shower. So everybody, we were waiting outside the shop, and everybody, our family and friends, were driving, and
Yeah.
You literally had a drive-through baby shower. That's incredible.
In front
yeah,
of the cafe. It
yeah,
was crazy.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
That's actually really creative. So I'm gonna introduce myself, and I'm gonna have you guys introduce yourselves as well. So if to people who've been watching this before, my name is Susie. I have been running these for about the past week. These are our Acaia Lives, where we speak with people from around the world about what they're doing. So we've talked to people who are experts in fermentation, experts in coffee competitions, you guys who own your own cafe. And what we would like everyone to do who's been joining the conversation is to ask questions. If you see just at the very bottom, there's a little box with a question mark. You can put your question in there, and we'll try and get to it as fast as possible. So I'd love for you to introduce yourselves, obviously.
Yeah.
Hi, well, my name is Karla, and I'm co-owner of Cafe Comunión. We've been open for like three
3 years,
years
yeah.
now. Um, and yeah, that's it.
And my name is I am Abner Roldan. We are from San Juan, Puerto Rico, a town called Santurce. And before opening Comunión, I was a barista in many places in Puerto Rico and also in Portland, Oregon.
Mm,
And we were both teachers. We I taught in like 5 years and kind of like
10.
something like that, 10 years,
Yeah.
like high school teachers. And I used to work part time as a barista, and I
nice.
left my job as a teacher to work barista full time like 10 years ago. And then I won a couple of competitions in Puerto Rico,
Hmm.
national competitions, and I said that this is what I wanted to do with my life, for full time. And then Carla followed me, and but she's more into she works for Sustainable Harvest too, Sustainable Harvest, and I don't know, we've been open for 3 years in Puerto Rico, Campo de Comunión.
Nice. And I know was reading a little bit of sort of some interviews you've done before,
Yeah.
um, which kind of talked about how you used to be teachers as well. But what did you used to teach? Was it anything to do with coffee at all?
No.
I used to teach history, so like Puerto Rico being like a coffee producing country, like we taught like coffee production in Puerto Rico and how it changed after North America got here and all that. But basically, I teach more like production side of things, and he used to teach English.
Yeah, I used to
So
be an English teacher, so it's mostly high school, and I used to teach for 6 years before, and now we use that experience that we had at the
yeah,
school
yeah,
in coffee. So we do our workshops and classes in here.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, nice. And I know you've won the competitions you won were like pretty much like national latte art competitions and some
yeah,
other ones as well.
yeah. It was that year in 2014 and 15, and I competed in Gothenburg, Sweden, and so in
Australia.
Australia, in Melbourne.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Amazing. And like for you, do you feel that you take what you said you apply to workshops, what you learned through high school, and is in
Yeah.
that way kind of do you apply it to how you run your cafe as well?
Yeah,
Yeah, because
definitely.
we can have a lot of information, about coffee and about anything, but we have to read the student. So you have to. When I was in the classroom, I had maybe 30 students in the classroom. So you have to modify the way you teach to not maybe all the students, but the group of students. And also in coffee, you have to find a way to teach your coffee students, because
Yeah.
then you cannot just copy paste whatever you got from a YouTube video or
Mm,
the SCA certification. You have to modify the way you teach to your students.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I've seen a lot of like talented, like scientific coffee people, but when they teach, it's like, oh, right? Because
Yeah,
teaching is like
Yeah.
it's like a gift. Like, not everyone can do it. So I think we had that skill of like simply explaining to people like what coffee is, or like if we do a recipe, Abner is super like he just teaches so well, and people tell him like, hey, like I understood, right, like what you say, because sometimes it's too scientific or too complex, or like it's
Mm,
not adapted to the public that we have here. So for us, it's really easy to like communicate like what coffee is, and what the industry is, because we're used to like kind of adapting and doing
yeah.
all that.
And for like some people who are watching this, they might not know what the specialty coffee scene is like in Puerto Rico or even like as in your city. Is there a big specialty coffee scene in that
Yeah,
area?
it's like Puerto Rico, it's like different from other like producing countries. We drink a lot of coffee, like nationally. Like the consumption is really high. Um, I wouldn't say maybe we have like older practices, but we're moving like maybe like 10 years ago or nine,
yeah,
we started with specialty coffee shops where you can see more the aesthetics and better machines and like
Mm,
better equipment. And we still serve Puerto Rican coffee, of course. So it's shifting, but there's still like a lot of old perceptions or like practices. But I think the community is getting younger and it's changing, and people are getting more educated. And of course, social media has been a big push to like really change the industry.
yeah.
So I think it's not starting. It already started a
yeah.
few years
It's
back.
taking longer than
Yeah.
maybe other cities, but because very people, Puerto Ricans are very proud about their coffee, and so there's a lot of tradition, like
Yeah.
when people want the coffee, like the abuela used to make the coffee, so it's a lot of nostalgia. And we try to be like a third world coffee shop in Puerto Rico, but also respecting the tradition.
Mm,
So it's like we try to be approachable to customers. That we have a different decoration, different way of service, and different coffees. But also we don't want them to feel intimidated.
Yeah.
So it's just like why with people you see them their faces whenever they come in like oh what's this? Is it a coffee shop, a restaurant, whatever? And then it's like the way you approach the customer is that he decides if he will come back or not.
Yeah.
So it's like we start asking, what do you usually get, or how do you like the coffee? Because maybe they don't know the names, and they say, oh, this is whatever names that you get from whatever and other countries. But if we are not defensive in when they in an approach, and then they come back. So
Yeah. For example, like maybe like a 6 ounce latte, they say it's like a, I don't know, pocillo, right? Like that's what we drink here.
mm,
And like they don't see it in the menu because it's 6 ounce latte, but we try to explain, right? Like, hi, like we have what you want. And one of the drinks that has been super popular here, it's the Valenciano, which is like café de abuela. It's kind of sweet. We use a little bit of like condensed milk and other things, and like we have that for the people that we know, like that sweet like coffee that they're used to. So we don't want to say no to the community. Like we have something for you.
yeah.
Of course, the preparation is more like methodical, and we use recipes and we wait and then we do all that. So the consistency, they have been noticing that every time they come, the coffee is better or as equal, and that's something that in other like traditional cafe you don't find. Like the coffee is always different, and one day could be watery, another day could be like old coffee. But we'll come into a specialty coffee shop, they have noticed consistency, and they have noticed like what we do, but we respect also tradition. So you can always find something if you're not into specialty coffee or you don't know what specialty coffee is. You can always find something in the menu, and I
Yeah.
think that's one of the ways to survive in a producing traditional coffee country.
Yeah, nice. And like on that note, if you opened your cafe 3 years ago, and you said that you had experience in Portland, and from obviously you've traveled around the world and seen how specialty coffee is around the world. Have you found, because since you've opened, that you've changed a lot from when you've opened?
yeah, we we have a concept, and then it's like we are very strict with our idea, our vision, our concept. But obviously, it's like a person, a business is like a person, so we have to change and adapt to the customer. So it's that some people, when we open, like those first months, everybody had a suggestion. Oh, you should do this, you should do that, you should have to change this and that, and so it's like we said no, we wanna. When we were like respectful, like, oh, like we
Thank
said,
you,
oh, thank you, thank
definitely.
you.
Yeah.
No, but they said no, no, no. We're not gonna do that. But we have changed. We say okay, we have pastries and that's it. But then we had a kitchen, and we said there's two open face sandwiches, and people were asking for more stuff, and we didn't want to be a restaurant, but we said okay, let's add
Expand the
stuff
menu.
to the menu little by little, and people have received it very well.
Yeah,
So
like because when we used to live in Portland, I don't know, but you go there and you can always find like a croissant or like, cookie. Now there's more coffee shop that serves food, but when we used to live in Portland, it was just like pastries. So when we
Mm.
opened here, we wanted to just keep it like that, but then, people are used here to eat like a sandwich with their coffee or, like just add something more. So in that sense, we adapted more in terms of the food. But in coffee and the quality, like we stick to what we
yeah,
knew
we
and
haven't changed
we
that much.
didn't change because we knew people like it was new, but they will understand it. And now they're like, like they rate about Café Comunión and like it's the best coffee because we knew from the beginning that it was going to be not hard, but difficult to get people to understand what we're doing. But once they got it, it's like they don't go to any other place, right? So I think it has been more in terms of food that we adapted
Mm.
and other activities. But in terms of coffee, like we're really applying what we know and the experience that we have had like throughout the years.
Yeah, nice. Because it sounds like you guys you're taking your experience from also the area from where you are and
Hmm.
like knowing what your customers will want and also what specialty coffee is as well.
Yeah.
Like for instance, I used to be a barista in Germany. I still live in Germany, but when someone would come in and they'd ask for a normal cafe, that is very different to what someone
Yeah,
wants in Ireland
Yeah.
or
yeah,
say like wants in San Juan.
yeah.
So if someone came into your cafe and they asked you for a normal coffee, what would you give them?
It's like café con leche
Café con leche.
and
Yeah.
sugar. Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, no more coffee. And some people get pissed off because and there are many cafeterias and restaurants that sell coffee in this community. And people sometimes they just stop in here because they smell the
The
coffee
coffee.
and they say, okay, dame café con leche. And oh, just a coffee. And I said, oh, how do you want the coffee? It's like black. No, no, like normal coffee. And some people get pissed off. Like, I'm trying to help you in this situation. So I'm gonna ask you some questions. So
To
I don't
serve
know.
you
So
what
you
you
get
want.
whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's gonna take maybe seconds. So and
Yeah.
people slowly okay, okay, yeah, con leche and sugar and that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, because whenever somebody from the States, tourists, they ask for regular coffee, then I tell my coworkers he's asking for a drip coffee.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know. And also if a Cuban asks for a coffee, then it's another. It's a lot of
Yeah.
different
Adaptations.
stations.
Because here, like the cafeterias, like it's espresso machine, and you go and they have like a big jug of milk that has been there like all morning, and and they just serve you coffee like back to back. And some people that like some a part of the community come here, and we try to explain like what do you want, like how many ounces, and in the beginning it's like a struggle, like we have to like communicate, but then it's like, oh my God, this coffee is amazing. We just make it extra hotter because we know they like it hot. But it's just adapting. But we don't want to say no to people. And where we are, like the location that we are surrounded by such a diverse community. Like we have schools, we have lawyers, we have like hospitals. So like we have to really read people and like just adapt and don't take it like personal and just serve people what they want. But we keep like strict consistency and quality, protocols. But if they want the coffee a little bit hotter, I will make it a little bit hotter, because we want people to come in and just like sit down and have a great time and enjoy the space because it's beautiful.
Nice. And because you guys you are in a producing country, would you say you have a good connection with the farmers around you as well?
It's, the coffee production in Puerto Rico, it's super different from what we're used to, like thinking of Latin America or like Ethiopia, or like, because we are a territory of the United States, so it's similar to Hawaii. It's more like states instead of like farms. So it's like,
Mm,
usually here they have farmers, they roast their coffee, and they also have a coffee shop. Like it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
So you can find like a lot of like Hacienda Buenavista coffee shop, and it's the producers from farm to cup. It's really it's normal here for each hacienda or farm to have their own coffee shop, or at least roast their own coffee. It's totally different to what we are used to, like thinking of producing country in other places of the world. So like we are connected to the farmers, and a lot of them supply coffee directly to coffee shops. So and they roast their coffee as well. So it's really common to have that.
yeah, nice. And
Mhm.
you said that you also do workshops. So you do workshops, you're in a coffee shop. Is there and many other things you do as well?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're doing it. We're doing it now because now we have more co-workers, like employees and employees. No. There are some words that I don't know how to pronounce, so I just whatever say.
Wing
Yeah,
it.
I don't know. And so we have more time. We're not gonna have more time now because we're gonna have a baby. But in between having more employees and having the baby, we would do workshops on Sundays.
Yeah.
So it's like because a lot of customers they have machines at the home, so they just
Yeah.
want to I don't know like they are aficionados too. So it's more like customers that want to learn.
Hmm.
So we gather a group of people and we teach basics of latte art, of
Yeah.
espresso, of pour overs. And
Yeah.
the thing is that you think that they're not gonna come back because oh, they know how to make coffee at home now, but now they're gonna come back more and they're gonna buy you a bag of
And
coffee,
ask
and
more
they have asked more
questions.
questions, and it's like win-win situation. So
Yeah.
we now that we have more free time during the week, so I can prepare classes and Carla too, and I Carla do cuppings
Yeah.
maybe every couple of weeks when we have a lot of samples and we buy coffee for, and then she also teaches how to do cuppings and I don't know taste coffee.
Hmm. Yeah, so we have like we now that we have a little bit more time because we have more teammates, like we are able to do it. I think we've been doing workshops for a year.
Yeah.
The first two, we were working here full time. We didn't have a lot of employees. We decided to really just do it like on our own, and just see what it was going to happen because, we were hit by Hurricane Maria, so we didn't want to really, we
Yeah.
didn't know what was going to happen. So like we just like it was me, Abner, and one more employee, and it was crazy. But we decided to keep it that way for a while. And then once we were kind of steady, not steady because like after Maria, nothing was normal.
No,
But
nothing is normal down here.
but,
No.
Something new every month.
yeah, yeah, we have been like, I think we never had a normal year,
Yeah.
but that's okay. So after the hurricane, we just decided to like really stay here, just focus, and like keep like all the finances tight, just in case, because we never knew like what was going to happen. We used to have a lot of blackouts too,
Yeah.
so we were just trying to keep things like let's see how it works. But now that it's the third year, and we have a great group of team, like a great team, like we're giving more workshops and expanding that knowledge and just doing what we love. It's to teach too. So
Yeah. And I'm sure you have those people that you've taught latte art who are coming in and maybe even spending even more attention to
yeah,
when
Yeah.
they're getting their drink.
It's like
yeah,
you're making a coffee and then they show you the phone and then you have to look at the cup and then you show and look at what I did on my home. It's like
yeah.
yeah, I'm
We
happy.
have we
Yeah.
have like a bar next to the machine, and that's where the espresso machine is, and that's where all the aficionados sit to just talk. And sometimes we are like in a rush, and people just want to talk, and we're like, okay, but we have to like do this. But
Yeah.
it's good. Like we prefer that than not having anyone like trusting us, in terms of knowledge. So it's good to have people coming and asking questions, and also like something that has been, I don't know why, but here maybe it happens in all the places, but people were really like secretive with coffee, like like I won't share with you like what I'm doing or my recipe, and we really don't don't think like that. So it's like
No.
when they ask us like, what are you serving? Like, what ratio are you using? Oh, we're doing this, we're doing that. Where did you buy that? Oh, like we do it like that because for me, knowledge is to be shared.
Mm.
Like we all add our own spice to it. You can never be like me. I can never be like you. But I will share all that I know because it's for the better of the community. So now we have people that were aficionados that now there's like the how do you say exigencias?
Uh,
Excellence, maybe?
Same,
Like the
it's,
requirements that they have for coffee are higher now, like the standards, let's say
Ah,
like that,
Sana.
right? Because they used to drink coffee in the corner, and now it's like, no, I just drink coffee at Cafe Comunión or at home. So it's
okay.
it's been great to have people that they didn't know anything, and now they're like, oh wow, like I now notice a difference, the profile, the taste. So it's been great. Like it's really
And it's
gratifying.
not just that we say, we're gonna serve the best coffee just
No.
to be the best ones. It's just that we serve the coffee the way that we like it. So
Yeah.
we said, come here, and we're gonna serve you the coffee the way with our standards, and then people notice the difference, and
Yeah.
they notice also the difference when they go to other places and they come back and they say, oh, there was something different in the
Hmm.
in the place that I went before, and it's because we try to think about the whole concept, because we as a brand,
Yeah.
Comunion, it's just not copy pasting from other places that we went. It's just our place, You when you
Yeah.
come here, you see what Karla and Abner created, and also our coworkers and the community when
Yeah.
they come. So I
Yeah.
don't know. It's
For a
just
lot of people,
ourselves.
it's like a shock because they're used to here to have like investors. So like if you have a restaurant, there's an investor behind it. So usually when we open the shop, like who are the owners, right? Like that question. Then we're like, oh, like us, like we are the owners.
Yeah,
And then it was like funny because like they're so used to having this like old person in the back just like looking what they're doing, and we were just like serving coffee, or like that's the model usually. So having it's been more difficult, or the way has been longer because we have to do it just on our own. Like, we have to like save money and to like really like do it, like just look for ways to like get the coffee shop thriving. But now we have so much liberty to like do what we want.
yeah,
And we're not against investors. Like you can
Yeah.
invest in us if you want. But but like in reality, like we feel that freedom to really create a concept that we really wanted, and we knew it was going to take longer, but we knew at the end, like, people were going to understand what Cafe Comunion was, right? Like, more than coffee, it's a space to just come, gather, the community. And after the hurricane hit us, we were closed for like 5 months because we lost like all the whole entrance and everything. We couldn't open properly. So Abner stood in the sidewalk, and he used to serve like batch brew coffee, right? So people still remember that, right? Oh, I remember when you guys were on the street and you were selling coffee. Like, we have the liberty to do those kinds of things. Even the pandemic, we decided to keep open, like we're open, right? And
Yeah.
and we are serving coffee with all the precautions, and like doing new things. But I feel grateful that we have that liberty as coffee shop owners to really like embrace our vision, and to create what we want to create.
And yeah, it's funny that you say that because actually that's the next thing I was going to ask was obviously you went through Hurricane Maria, and this is like usually when like kind of things like that happen in the community, that people go to a space they can find community in, which would be places like coffee shops and bars and restaurants, and they can be with their friends. They can be with their friends and such. But now because of the pandemic, like that we're all going through, we can't really gather like we used to. Are you noticing that kind of like have you seen a difference in how the coffee community there is being since the pandemic hit?
Esteban. And we have been very, because we live just one block from Comunion. So it's like we have tried to stay in this, the community, but it's been a struggle. What's the question?
I think, like in terms of the community, we have seen the change, but Comunion has become like the home for so many people that live around here, that for them, for us to be open has been like a breather. Even though the dynamic is different, like it's to go and we are not hugging or kissing, or for us to be open has been like a breather in reality, because everything is so rough outside, so weird. Like streets are empty, and like we have people where there's still banks open, so they come here, they get their coffee, and we have received that comment that, oh, this is the only normal thing that I'm still doing, right? Like just getting my coffee, and it's been great that we had that luxury of opening, or that benefit of opening, because we live so close that we just walk here and we open a few hours, take precautions, and then go back home. And the employees that want to work, they can work, but if they don't want to work because they don't feel safe, they cannot do it, right? We just leave it open for people to decide what they wanted to do. For me, like it's weird because coffee shops are a place of gathering. So I really want to see what's going to happen after the pandemic, like kind of like slow down or like goes down. How we're going to be key people for the reconstruction of gatherings and intimacy again. I think coffee places are going to be key in that. In when that happens, like we're going to be key in bringing people normalcy again,
Mm.
even with the distancy, because that what coffee shops are, like a place to talk, a place to like invite your friend, a place to be on your own and read a book. So I think the community has to start thinking, in general, like what steps can we do as coffee shops to kind of bring that back, like that intimacy back, that normalcy, that we can like still share a cup of coffee. And so it's that's what I've been thinking through this last quarantine months, like how I'm going to be an active participant of reconstructing the
Yeah.
society again, right? It sounds super
Yeah.
like complex, but I think we have a responsibility and role in that.
Yeah.
No, I think to be honest, it's an excellent, very positive way to think at the moment as well, because so much of us were in the middle of it. I think we're going through these like rolling times of like, what's happening, what's going on, to, oh, everything's fine, everything's
Yeah.
okay, to back to, oh my God, what's going on, what's
Yeah.
happening? And I think even for us, like the people who work for Acaia, this is the reason we're doing these kind of chats, was to sort of bring a moment where people could watch and feel a little bit of normalcy, like the kind of conversations you would happen upon in coffee shops. What are people talking about? What are they talking about the future about? Like all these different things, and it's nice to hear that you guys are thinking of the future and how
Yeah.
can we take from this and how can we change it.
Yeah.
Are there any things you would like to do in the future for both of you?
I
For like, obviously, you're gonna have a baby very soon.
Oh yeah.
He'll be here serving coffee. But
Yeah.
I don't think, I think we are like more into sorry. I think we're thinking more like how to activate that, what I just mentioned, like that sense of community, like how we can do activities that are responsible, thinking about protocols, but also like, just incentivize people to get out and really to like, when we can, of course, but how we're going to like be part of the like rebuilding of society. I know it sounds like a super, how do you say this, greedy or like, visionary, but I really
Mm,
think we really have a role. Like, I really think that especially coffee shops, we really do have a role. And we plan to do more workshops, and we plan to do more activities. And even if we have to put more tables outside to people to feel more comfortable, we're all going to do it. Like we're really going to think how we can make people feel safe and make them trust us. And we have seen people coming, that we have been really surprised because we thought they were going to be in lockdown forever because they're so meticulous. That type of client that is always like so meticulous, but they trust us, so they come here. So that for me has been like super great, because I know people that don't go to certain restaurant because they don't trust the restaurants.
oh
But for
wow.
us, like they trust, like we have good practices, good hygiene, like we are thinking of you guys first. So having that kind of history with people and serving quality, now people trust us because they know the machine is clean. They know we clean our hands. They know like those practices that we have like really implemented a few years back. Now it's really paying off because people come here and you see that they're comfortable. They're not paranoid or like not touching anything. They really trust the way we run the business and the way we think about them and safety. So, and also like we had that practice with Hurricane Maria and the earthquakes and the blackouts. So we
Yeah.
know how to deal with crisis a little bit. So it's great to see that people still come in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and we keep adapting to as we see more people outside, coming to the shop. Then we keep adapting.
Protocol.
Because I think in Puerto Rico, restaurants can open in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So we saw some stuff that they are doing in California. So we're gonna adapt the shop as to make people feel
Yeah.
comfortable with the whole situation. So like maybe less tables and no computers.
Yeah.
So no campers. I'm sorry. And so I don't know. Like we are just gonna adapt.
Yeah.
yeah.
We have done it for so long that we are just going to adapt again.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably have adapted more than like most cafes have, to be honest.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say a reminder to anyone who is following at the moment. If you have a question for Abner or Carla, please put it in the little question box at the end. I think someone actually earlier on, I think I can't remember what their Dirty Reel
I
maybe.
don't have my lenses, so I don't see
Yeah, Dirty
anything.
Reel said that you guys have completely changed how coffee is in Puerto Rico,
Thank you.
Yes,
which is
thank you.
very
Yeah, yeah,
kind.
yeah. Yeah,
And
it's been like it's been great. Like it's been hard, but it's been great. Like because how do you change things? People always think you're pretentious because you're doing things right, right? Like if I measure espresso, like I weight sorry espresso, why are you using a weight? They think it's a statement more than a tool, and then we have to explain, no, we're not doing this because we want to look cool, like we really want to bring you consistency. So,
Yeah.
like explaining that to people in a way where you don't look pretentious, and I think it's our own fault as a specialty coffee industry. We have done a lot of things pretentiously without explaining. And I think now that I explain to people, we use the weight because of this and that. Oh, let me buy one, right? Or I use this grinder because it's more consistent. Oh, right? Because we're not just putting stuff in front of you without explaining why we do it. So,
yeah,
like that first few months of, people seeing the equipment and, asking questions, or they're so like pretentious, but then they got it. Like, oh no, like they're doing things right. So it's been good. Like it's been super interesting.
nice. Oh, I think we have some questions. Okay. I think you might know this person. Best
Uh,
bosses you can
Yeah.
have, period.
you're not getting a
Director,
raise.
you're not getting
Uh,
a raise. Go back.
So you do know them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, no, that is the thing. Because obviously, I know a lot of people who now work in the industry, maybe like who have met at expos. We all should be at expo at the moment, but unfortunately not. Um, was the point of communication. Um, and I think I used to deal with like people coming in and being like, "Why is this drink so expensive? Why is this coffee so expensive?" But as long as you, as the barista, or you, as the employee, was able to explain it, usually people wouldn't be angry. They'd be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay, I get it."
No, we even have like older like demographic.
Yeah.
We have a price for the community because like we have a standard. If someone like elderly come in, we charge them something different because we want them to have coffee anyways. But we serve espresso here for $2, and some people thought it was expensive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because we used to go to a cafeteria, like another place, and $1, and that's it. But after all the whining and like all the I want to pay that, when they drink it, you see their face like oh like oh this is different, right? So like we have to charge those prices because we're using better products and different equipment, and we really have to. But we really want to explain to people that we don't do it because we want to get richer. We're not. We just really want to bring you another experience. So it's been like people come in, they don't like the prices, they go. Some stay and they never go back to their old cafeterias. Or like it's just explaining to people why we do what we do. Like you mentioned, it's all about communication. Hmm.
and do you both have you any favorite memories of your coffee shop over the last 3 years?
Or this, I don't know. Give me like 5 minutes. I have to think in Spanish now. Um, just the people coming back and people bringing. Also, it's a good experience. I'm very introvert, so I try to be as sharp as possible. When I have an interaction with you, but it happens a lot that a customer that came for the first time, he was kind of shy and asking questions and then looking at everything, and then he will come back with his friends or family, and then he's gonna be so proud. Oh, this is my place, and say, I only saw you one time, but it's okay. So it's your time. So it's like bringing people, and they are so happy because they found a place that he was treated well, and he got a good product, and he got a good product consistently, you know. And
Remember, Monica, we have an employee that we had a customer that said, we're going to bring, next Sunday, I'm going to bring like 10 people. And we thought it was a joke. And next
yeah,
Sunday, we had to open the patio because he brought like the whole family, right?
yeah,
And it was like 12 people at the same time. The cafe was full. We're like, oh my God. We're like, oh no. But, like that kind of thing that people want to bring more people, I think it's
yeah,
the best feeling ever. Because they want others to feel what they felt the first time that they came in, and you see when they come in and they kind of like, this is my coffee shop, and like these are my baristas, and that kind of like pride that people takes on coming in. I think it's one of the best feelings too as well. And also, like as Amber mentioned, like we both introvert extroverts, like we were really in our like own bubble, and having like our clients being like almost family, like
yeah,
like we haven't like crossed the line, but it's like we see them every day, like at every hour, and every time the relationship gets like deeper and the conversations get deeper, and like it's so amazing that we're surrounded by so many like people. Like we had that baby shower here in front of the cafe, and having clients coming through, like it's just like that sense of intimacy that like we never thought that we will have with people that we never knew before. So
yeah. And
it's
also, when the Barista magazine came out, the one that we are, it's like we put the magazine, not we, but our coworkers put it on the front, and customers were, oh, you're in the magazine. It's like, yeah, we know. I told you, we know what we're doing. It's like, oh, that's it. Yeah. So it's like it's been
validation.
like that forever. So it's, oh, I saw you in the magazine, and I was like, yeah, no, I would know what we're doing. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's cool.
Nice. And so obviously at the moment, like that's obviously one of your favorite coffee memories within the cafe, but as like, how did you both get into coffee? Because obviously you were both teachers before and then you started in
Yeah.
coffee. How did you get started in coffee?
How did I get started?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and
On dates, coffee
yeah,
dates.
I graduated from college in 2004, and my major was in business administration. So I didn't know. I knew I wanted to have my own business, but I didn't know what it was the business about. So after that, I worked in accounting for 4 or 5 years, and I hated it with all my heart. Being in a, yeah, even if I don't talk a lot, I don't like to be seated in the same place, and I don't know, and doing the same thing all over and over. So we started dating. Before that, I took some courses like in 2006 or seven
Yeah.
because I,
Like SBA, like small business courses.
yeah, to open my business. So, but at that time, I took some barista courses, but it didn't work out. So we started dating in 2007 or 8,
Mm-hmm.
and we started going to coffee shops, and we used to go to this place in like a public space, public
Mm-hmm.
park in Caguas, and we used to go there a lot, and we used to talk about coffee, talk about the latte and stuff like that, and how different it tasted. And at that time, I started working as a teacher,
Mm-hmm.
and then we moved when we got married in 2009. We moved to this town called Santurce, and there's a coffee shop in the neighborhood that we used to go a lot. That was like maybe 11 years ago. And in summers, teachers have the time off,
Yeah.
So I asked the owner because I met the owner, and I asked him, "Can you give me a job during the summer? Because I'm bored and I don't want to be at home with Carla." And he said, "Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
no.
come work
It was a
some hours."
blessing.
So in like I said, 2010, I think. And I was a dishwasher, and I used to be I would not stop looking at the machine, but I was in the register, then doing dishes. And I would ask my coworkers a little by little if they would teach me. But some of them were, nah, you knew, you, whatever, because that was now I understand it. That was the way they used to, talk to girls, like, you know, and then they didn't want to tell me how to uh, learn coffee, but it was maybe one that taught me little by little. So he would let me make a coffee. So I will make a coffee every day. I will make only one coffee. It was my coffee. So I will go back to home. And that time there was no Instagram. It was only very old YouTube videos. So I would go back home and watch all night videos about how to make a cappuccino. Then I would go to the school and I would not stop thinking about my cappuccino of the day. So I would teach all the classes to all my students thinking about that cappuccino. Then I would go to the after school. I would go to work in this coffee shop, and I will only have one chance to make a cappuccino. And if I mess it up, then I will have to wait
Another day.
another 24 hours. So in 2011, I competed in this national competition. No, 2013. So I was like 3 years working part time as a barista and full time
Teacher.
as a teacher. So in
Wow.
2013, I won this Puerto Rican championship. I was new, really,
Yeah, beginner.
the beginner. So I read all the rules, and competitors don't read rules. So if you read the rules,
You win.
then you are a little bit ahead. So, so I won the competition, and when I got the trophy and look at Carla and said, "We're going to Australia." So I said, I'm quitting school. So I'm being so it was like leaving a formal job, like an adult job, to go work as
Barista.
a barista. So it was like a student job or young guy job. So, but I said I like this so much. I like it more than being at school. So that was in 2013. So that's when I went full time to work in
Yeah.
coffee. And then
Nice.
she
Yeah.
kept teaching,
Yeah. I
and
was a teacher
maybe
for longer. I
uh,
was loyal to teaching for a long time.
Yeah.
so she was a supplier. I was working
I was the
the
main income for a long time.
yeah.
No, but in reality, like after, like I have a history major, so like I love. I think the part that I love about coffee, it's like the human aspect, right? And I didn't see myself. Now I'm a barista, and I got a scholarship from SCA, so I won the lead scholarship. So I train as a sensory, and now I do more barista, cupping, and all that. But in the beginning, the thing that I really am passionate is humans, right? It's history, it's that story behind it. So when I went to competitions with Abner, I went to Australia, I went to Italy, I went to Sweden. Like he took me everywhere. I started just talking to people, like Sarah from Barista Magazine and like other people, and just learning this new side from coffee that is human, like the production side of coffee, and the story behind coffee and the struggles in producing countries, and the whole dynamic of the supply chain. Like I started learning because I love that type of stuff. So I started working for this coffee magazine as a writer.
Wow.
And then I started doing like more like investigations and research, and then I became like the Spanish editor. We decided to launch the magazine in Spanish, so I used to write everything in Spanish and translate with a team of teammates that were amazing. And that's when I really got into coffee because I started traveling to cover more activities. I went to Honduras and spent 2 months learning cupping. I went to Guatemala. Like I started just going to farms, learning like just like talking to people, and for me that was so easy because that's what I did as a teacher, right? Like I have history teacher, just I'm a storyteller, right? So it was so easy to shift. So I think in 2014 or
Uh,
15, I don't remember, I decided to like work full time for the magazine and just like writing and doing all that, kind of leaving the teaching side like back
Mm.
and then just doing coffee. So, it's great because now we balance each other. Like he has more knowledge in like barista and doing all these things, and I have all this knowledge in production and the people behind it and the sacrifices and like how coffee gets here and logistics, like all these things that we complement so well because we have like the whole thing together. So it's been like a great balance throughout the year.
And that's incredible, to be honest. Like that, both of you, that's the way you both got into coffee and have explored coffee now. Because I think you're both writers, right?
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
But it now, like you have your cafe now, which is obviously it's a very important part of the community. Is there any other parts of coffee you'd like to maybe expand into the future?
I think we're opening, well, I have plans of opening this a coffee school here in PR over the next year. After I finish all my certifications from my CA and all that, like we're thinking about opening. I really want to connect the public education programs with coffee. I used to work for the Boys and Girls Club and for other nonprofits, so I really want to bring coffee to those communities through like a school where I can bring kids. Like right now, we have groups from Boys and Girls Club that come here and watch us work and they ask questions about the business. So I really want to expand that. I really want to reach out to like more the young community. Not everyone wants to be a lawyer. You can be a barista and do it well and have a good like living, right? That's what I want to do. So I think we really want to expand that part of education
Mm.
and doing more like courses and doing all that. I don't know you.
I'm just following her. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I also like, would like
He
to.
likes coffee.
I still don't know what's gonna. I was listening to Boss Barista, Ashley Rodriguez podcast. She did an interview to James Hoffman. So
Mm.
he was talking about that our minds keep um, don't stop. So I have to look back to myself. Like I wanted to be in the situation I'm in right now,
Hmm.
but I keep thinking, oh, it's not enough. It's not enough.
Yeah.
And he was talking about enjoying
The now.
the now, and because if you only focus on the destiny, then you will never be satisfied. But I'm just stopping a little by little and enjoying, and then thinking about my
Yeah.
next project. And I want to also keep teaching more on my expertise that is on the bar. And maybe I don't know. People keep asking me if we're gonna open another.
Another one.
I don't know yet because with all these, I don't know,
You're having a
issues.
baby.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
even
I
I don't
forgot
know if you
about the
can think
baby.
about
Slow
anything
down.
else.
Slow
I forgot
down.
about the baby.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I think
So
like what he said, like it's really important. Like if we think about how we started, like we married super young. Like we've been married for 11 years
I
now.
was a little bit older. Older.
He's older. He
Yeah.
just looks young. But
Yeah.
but it's like and like the growth that we have had, even for my family, like we didn't buy a house right away. We didn't buy a car right away. Like we knew exactly what we wanted to do. People didn't understand it. People didn't think it was going to be successful. Like, oh, a cafe, way,
Yeah. Another
yay.
one.
Yeah, another cafe in Puerto Rico. Like we really we kept pushing. We moved to Portland. We wanted to learn. We went to every coffee went that we could. We started learning, reaching people. Like we really we knew like what we wanted, and we knew was going to take longer. It's been 11th year in the making,
Yeah.
and but now sometimes it's hard because we want to keep doing and doing and doing. But
Mm.
sometimes I sit like this quarantine has allowed me to sit
Yeah.
and think how like oh my god, like we have all of this that we never thought about having 11 years ago. So we're kind of trying to enjoy it as much as we can, but just having that vision that we know we have more space to grow, but taking one step at a time.
Yeah. We took our time. So we could open maybe 7 years ago,
Yeah.
and it will be so different. So I'm happy that we wait a lot, and we respect, especially the coffee. So we
Mm-hmm.
respect this industry. We respect what we're doing. So we wanted to be so prepared. And I see a lot of people, a lot of young guys and girls that want to just got into coffee,
I want to open.
and I'm just like
Yeah.
I'm gonna open a car or
Mm-hmm.
do a catering, and tell them, I don't know. I tell them that, you have to wait. You have to work in good places and bad places, travel the world, go to the United States and work in there and then come back. And then you're gonna be prepared to,
Yeah.
because this is not only just doing that there. This is not just only serving customers and that's it. You have to learn about hospitality. You have to learn about, I don't know, how to
People.
decorate a place. You have to go to a coffee shop that you like and see how it's decorated. And then, I don't know, because all these things are important. What equipment they're using,
Yeah.
use different equipment. And then whenever it comes out, I don't know,
Yeah, it
it's going to
happens.
happen.
Yeah.
And that's how it happened to us. And I don't know, I want to also have a channel on YouTube or something like that. I've been struggling the whole quarantine about talking on camera, and I can talk to anyone. I can. I used to go to church, and I mean, my dad is a pastor, so I used to have a microphone and I would play. The drummer didn't come today, so I would play drums or play the guitar. And I didn't know how to play the guitar, so I mean, I don't care about being in front of people, but being in front of camera and talk, I don't know.
He's struggling
I'm
with
just,
it.
I don't know. It will come. And
Yeah.
somebody asked about a podcast, and yeah, we have a podcast.
We have
It's
Yeah,
called La
so I
Crema.
was supposed to ask. You have your own podcast and then you've
Yeah,
also been
it's
on
in
several.
Spanish. Yeah,
It's in
yeah,
Spanish.
yeah.
because we noticed that like when we started working in coffee, especially when I started working for the magazine, like there's not a lot of like good resources in Spanish.
No,
And the thing is like a lot of, I'm going to say this respectfully, but a lot of translators that are not native Spanish
use Google
speakers,
Translator.
they don't translate well. When I used to read like books about roasting, I'm like, what the hell is this word? Like this is not even a word. Like it's not. So I used to notice that we were lacking good translations in Spanish, and we are also
And
lacking
also
good resources in
content in
Spanish.
Spanish, written in Spanish.
Yeah, it's like it was rough. And then we tried to do a podcast in Spanish because we could have made it in English with our like Latino English, but
Yeah.
it's like, no, let's do it in Spanish because there's this whole specialty coffee community in Latin America that has been doing this for years, like even
Mm.
longer than the States, but they don't have the platform to express themselves. They don't have the platform to really like just thrive. And I think that's exactly what coffee needs, like more like be respectful of the people that
Mhm.
are not in the States or in Europe, but we have this whole range in Latin America that not also know coffee as an espresso machine. They know production and they know coffee. They know coffee. So it's
Yeah.
incredible. It's incredible that like there's not more resources. So I think that's why we wanted to do La Crema in Spanish and keep doing more like videos in
Yeah,
Spanish and workshops and stuff like that.
And have you found a big response to La Crema?
yeah.
Yeah,
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 and there's a lot of people that write DMs and
yeah,
telling me about the interviews, and we have tried to interview people from Puerto Rico, and then I interviewed some people in the SCA last year,
yeah.
Carlos de la Torre, Jimena from Mexico, and now we're gonna do it on doing using Zoom or maybe Skype because I listened to other podcasts and I didn't know about using doing it from in the computer. But
Mm.
I don't know. I'm gonna work it out,
Yeah.
and I think also that if you go to Mexico, you all the baristas know a lot about what they're serving, and it takes more time for us to talk about what we know than from maybe other people in other countries that as soon as they know a little bit, then they have something, I don't know, I'm gonna do a video about this method that everybody have done. So it's like maybe for me and other people in the industry, maybe I don't know, in Puerto Rico or Latin America, it takes more time for us to be on the social media and talk
Yeah.
about what we know.
I
So
think it's something like culturally, like like
it's more the
I've
respect
seen
about.
people that it's been like maybe they read something and they do a podcast like right away. But I think we feel that knowledge is such a responsibility
Hmm.
that I think for Amner and I it takes longer. Like when we create content, we really want to be sure that what we're saying, like we're being like responsible about what we're saying, right? And we're not
Yeah.
doing just generalizations of like just like we really want to be able to communicate well. And I think that's how we are taught culturally. Like
Yeah.
like you don't speak if you don't know what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I think that pressure we need to chill out. Like it's
Don't say good or
we've
bad
been
thing.
like we've
Yeah.
been like
Because
11
I
years now.
overthink it and then.
But I think like that's why it takes longer for us like to really like be out there because we feel like it's such a big responsibility to be an ambassador, right? It's not about ranking. It's about really communicating things well. And I think over the last year, I've been kind of not worried, but kind of I don't know, like I've seen a lot of people in the coffee community just ranting and ranting and ranting and ranting. I'm like, okay, that's good. But what can we do? Like what are the options? Like what are the solutions? How are we going to solve this? Like those
Yeah.
are the questions that need to be put out there, not just around about I don't know, but it's just like that's why I'm kind of like we're kind of shy because I think this knowledge and talking and just be out there is such a privilege that it should be taken with responsibility. I don't know.
Yeah. So I think we're actually just about to run out of time, and I'm so afraid of you guys being cut off in the middle of a sentence because,
No, no worries.
yeah, Instagram
It's
Live
one
cuts off
hour.
like just the hour in. So I just wanted to thank you guys so much for joining me and talking to me for this hour. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you guys did too. And I
Yeah.
think everyone who was watching really enjoyed. So I just wanted to say good luck with the baby.
Thank you.
Thank you. I sometimes forget.
Yeah, and thank you for this opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
we will be saving this to our Instagram, which you can find in our IGTV area. So
thank
thanks
you.
so
Thank
much.
you.
I hope you guys
Yeah,
Goodbye.
have a
thank
good
you. Talk to
day.
you soon. Bye.
Goodbye.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.